Hello again and welcome to your project of the month. This month we're going to be working with your backdrop tool in your Floriani Total Control software, or this can also be done in the Floriani Embroidery Suite. I personally prefer to use the Total Control, but either one will work with this project. As always, when we open up our Floriani software, if you happen to be online, your My Floriani Today page will be active and open. This is where you have access to other learning resources, such as our downloading training manuals, our Learning and Resource Center, webinars with Walter Floriani, which of course are updated each month as he does new webinars, and their old ones are also archived. That is an invaluable tool for learning right there for you. If you haven't checked those out, please do so. They are no charge to you, and I know that you will learn just a great amount of information from the master himself. Of course, we have a support forum that again is a great learning place to ask questions to fellow embroiderers, which is also monitored by our educational staff and technical staff, so somebody's always there to help you. Then of course, if you just feel like you don't have time to digitize it or don't have the skill level yet, then we offer a fee service, which means that we do charge for digitizing for you, but you can be sure that it will be done exceptionally well. Always, we have our 5 free designs a month. As you can see, April's are up. That's when I'm doing this project right now, and those are so cute. I hope that you really enjoy those. So let's get started with our project. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new design page just by simply left clicking on it, and then I come on to my screen. Here's our Floriani Total Control, and today, like I said, we're going to be working with the backdrop tool. Backdrop tool is what it basically lays an overlay on your screen. It's not going to be sewn. So here you have your software, and we're going to be working with backdrops today. And I'm a very visual person, so backdrops I find very, very helpful in placement of designs. What we'll do is we'll first load our backdrop. Our project that, or the project that I've done, happens to be a pair of boots, so I'll pull those up first. So I'll just go File, go to Load Backdrop. So left click on File, left click on Load Backdrop, and then I find if my boots hadn't already came up, then what I would do is I would go into the Look-In area, have my drop-down menu, and I would locate the file that my backdrop is in. Yours might be in Pictures, or maybe on your desktop, or just wherever that you've placed it. So I'm just going to click off on that, and I'm going to pull up a pair of boots. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up this pair that I've measured, and this is not the backdrop we're going to be working with today, but I just want to reiterate that before you start this project, you're going to want to measure your item that you're going to put your embroidery on. Just like I've done here, very simply measured horizontally. Also, I would measure vertically to assure myself of the actual space that I have to work with placing embroideries. The reason I measured this horizontally is because that's the information I plan to put in to size my boots to scale, and I'll explain what that is now. So we're just going to go to create a new design page. We're going to go File, left click on File, left click on Load Backdrop, and I'm going to pull up the pair of boots that picture of the pair of boots that I'm actually going to work with. So here's the picture of my boots. This is the actual one that I'm going to be working with. First thing, for it to be convenient for me to work with and you to work with, would be that we need to rotate this. So to be able to rotate a backdrop, it's not an embroidery, so none of the embroidery tools will engage with this, meaning that, as you can see, these are not highlighted or active because they don't work with a backdrop. When you work with the backdrop, you must re-click the backdrop picture or icon over on your left hand side. Once you've done that, then you're going to be familiar with these icons. These are your scaling icons to size. This is also going to be where you find your rotate button. And so I'm just going to hold my left mouse button down, and I'm going to rotate that and drag that around so that I can see my boots much better. So that's more convenient. Now we're going to straighten this up a little bit. I can see that this is a little bit crooked, and while I could work with them that way, I want to teach you that you can left click on your backdrop tool, and there's a word that says define horizon. When you left click on define horizon, then what happens is your mouse will change. You left click down and hold your left mouse button, drag across, and say that this is the area that I want to straighten up. See, I followed the line that it has, and I just follow the line as it is. Once I let go of my left mouse button, look, it straightened those boots up for me. So that's really nice to work with if you're a little bit off in taking your picture. So another thing that we want to do, we measured the boots so that we could get the boots or anything that we're working with to the proper size, so that when we drag and drop our embroideries to embellish the boots, that we know that the embroideries will fit, and it's not just our maybe thinking that it will fit, they will actually fit because we'll have our picture to size. So what I'm going to do is go back to the backdrop tool. I'm going to left click again, and I'm going to go to define scale. Define scale is just that. I'm going to tell this how wide my boots are. Once I've done that, it's going to take the whole picture and scale everything proportionately. That's neat, isn't it? And so I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to tell it that it was 7.75, I believe, and say okay. So now, even though, if you can see our magnetic perception, or how we're seeing the backdrop, as you can see here, is at 18% magnification, so it's very small. So we'll want to work with that a little bit bigger. 100% would be to size. If I were to go and get Mr. Floriani's handy dandy ruler and left click and drag across, we could see that it has scaled the boots for me. If I go up here to where I originally measured and measure that across, I will see that I'm right where I was supposed to be based on the scaling that I said. But at 100%, I really can't see the whole area, so I'm going to drop that down about 75%, maybe 50%, and then bring that up. Another thing you can do too is double click your zoom tool anytime, and that will bring everything that's on your screen back into perspective. But again, that's too small to work with. So let's go back to 50%. So I think 50% is good. So now we simply need to embellish our boots. Go over to your design library if that's where your designs are. I had chosen for this project to use a signature collection of designs that I've placed in my design library called Majestic Wings. But of course, just like we have, you may have other designs in here that you would like to use. We have some beautiful butterflies that I know our instruction sheet's going to be written with that you could utilize, or just any designs from anywhere. You may need to go up and go File, and I like to use Merge instead of Open to bring in my designs, because when I use the word merge, that means that I'm going to be able to bring more than one design in on a design page. If I go File and Open, that's indicating to the computer or the software, that I just want to bring in one design and only one design and not work with others. So I just am in the habit of doing File Merge, because you never know. I may pull in one design, or I may pull in 10 designs. So File and Merge, and then you would go to the resource of where your designs might be on a jump drive, on your hard drive, or wherever, just like for the pictures. So I'm going to pull up the Majestic Wings by just left clicking on that folder in my library called Majestic Wings, and then I'm going to go through and I'm just going to look at the different butterflies that I have, and then just start auditioning them. I'm going to bring them over and look and see how that is, and decide where I might want to place that particular butterfly. And then I may want to pull over another one up at the top here, or I may want to bring it down. But isn't it neat that we can actually see how that's going to look on the boots? If I go over here to the left hand side of tools that I have, and I click on the 3D image, I really get a very realistic preview of how the boots are going to look, and that's really nice. So I'm going to go over and choose another butterfly. Maybe choose this one. Take that. So really neat. Now, I'm a visual person again, so I just would, place these wherever I felt comfortable. By left clicking each one, I can reselect them over and over to move them and shift them around to get them and place them where I really think that it's attractive. Another thing that I can do if I want to center everything is I can left click and hold my control key down in essence and left click on the other butterfly, left click on this butterfly, and then I could utilize my justification tools maybe to center them all to each other or whatever is good. I personally for a project that's like artistic like this, I tend to place the butterflies where I want them. I'm not worried about them being symmetrical or exactly on center, but that is something you might find useful for something that you're doing. But something like that I find very attractive. If I decide, okay, hey, that looks great, I might magnify out just a little bit more and just look at them, readjust them if I need to. But if that's what I like, then we're good to, because you definitely want to print out a template for this. This is a template of the butterflies. As you can see in my print settings, I have just the crosshairs chosen. I want you to go and look at settings, left click on settings, and look at all the different things that you can actually have print out for you. You can have, if you had pulled up a hoop, you could have your hoop show. I didn't pull up a hoop, so I could leave that clicked on or off. It doesn't really matter. I like the 3D version because I like to see how the threads are going to look. I like the seeing the stitches. But you could actually even pull up your backdrop. I'm just going to say okay to that and let you see what that looks like. You could print that out. I don't know that particular that I didn't do that. I didn't really find that necessary, but I just want to show you that you can print whatever is good for you and your project. On a different project, I may want to print out the background, but on this particular one, I don't. So anyway, explore the print settings and how they can be really useful for you, because there's nothing better than printing out, as we're going to do in this project, on Template Tearaway. Because printing this on Template Tearaway is how I really made sure that my butterflies were going to work on my boots. Also found just one center for these 3 butterflies on my boots, and then it just all worked. So that was really great. So I'm going to, if I was ready to print, which I would be, I've already done this project, so I clicked on print and then printed that picture out on Template Tearaway. I'm going to close this for now. I'm going to go and show you, now that we have the butterflies chosen here, what I want to show you is that we can take all of these butterflies. I'm just going to select them all. You can select all by several different ways. You can hold your left mouse button down and drag a box around, and that selects them all, or you can go up to edit and of course choose select all. One of the things I want to do with this butterfly picture, so that I don't, right now I have 26 color changes. One of the things that I'd like to do is to combine any colors that I could. So I love Floriani Total Control, and I'm sure you do too, those of you who already own this software. If you're thinking about owning the software, this will be a feature that will become invaluable to you, is to be able to select all your designs that are on your screen. Go to edit and resequence by color. Once you resequence by color, it's going to combine any colors that it can. In the case of this, if I go to my slow draw, I can just see how that's going to sew out. And as you can see, it has combined like similar colors so that it will minimize as many steps as possible, which is really, really nice. Sometimes it can do more, sometimes it can't, but I'm very glad that I can save as much time as possible so that I can do more projects. So this is your lesson with the Learning the Backdrop tool. Also, I've added in looking at your preview and settings area, talking about your Template Tearaway and printing your designs before you go to your actual project. I hope that you enjoy working with your backdrop tool as much as I have. And don't forget, it's not just for boots. It can be for boots, it can be for shirts. You can take a picture of anything and pull it up as a backdrop. And then audition your, I call it auditioning, we call it auditioning at Floriani, auditioning your designs to see which one is going to be right for your project. So I hope you have a wonderful club today, and I'll look forward to teaching you a new skill next month.